All right. So thank you again for taking the time to do this. First, I just wanted to ask you what your general thoughts are on your team. Obviously, you guys are 9-0. You're ranked number 2 in the state. But what makes this team so different and special compared to the other years?
Uh, First off, this team really likes each other. They get along very well. Um, they love playing for each other, and we play much, much better defense than we have in the past. Our focus is on defense and sharing the ball, and I think it's made us a lot tougher than we have been in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I would agree. You guys definitely score a lot. But one thing I don't think people look at is how low you guys hold your opponents to. I mean, you look like last night. What was it? You guys held them to 34 points. I
Three,
mean,
two.
yeah, 32. Yeah, you don't see that too often. A good offensive team and defensive team. But yeah, with that being said, obviously JC Walker is a big reason why you guys are still undefeated. He's a very special player and a person. What makes him that special player? What makes him such a good person off the court?
Uh, as a player, his engine never stops running. Um, his skill set is it's immense. I mean, he can shoot, he can go inside, he gets rebounds, he plays defense, he passes the ball well. There's nothing he doesn't do very well. Um, he also works his butt off. Like we played in the Rochester Summer League, then we played in the Wayne Fall League, then we went to Niagara Falls to play them. We went to Liverpool, and most of those things are they're not mandatory. JC Walker's never missed a thing. I mean, he's with me. He's like a part of my family, and he's also one of the most polite, respectful kids that you're ever going to run into. Um, it's been a pleasure to have him part of my life the last 4 years.
Yeah, you can definitely tell, he puts the work in. He's usually your leading scorer every night. He's averaging a double double, which is very impressive. But yeah, just a great player. And obviously he's not the only one. You got guys like Jacob Sides, who has been a key player to you, especially last Saturday against Avoca Prattsburg. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with you guys. You have a balanced scoring attack. It's not just one or two guys. A lot of depth you guys have too. But with that being said, I also want to get into the Wayne County League. Obviously, a lot of people talk about, how it's not really a competitive league. You guys are obviously just way better than everyone else. Do you guys have any plans of moving out of that league and maybe going into a more competitive league? And if you do, would you be in favor of it?
Um, the last few years, we've talked about trying to slowly move away from the league to get better competition. Um, and I'm all for that, but I'm also for honoring the tradition of Lions basketball. I grew up Lions basketball. I came to practice every day when I was 5 years old. And I remember all the great games with Clyde and Solis and North Rose, teams like that. So the tradition part bothered me a little bit, but I'm for next year. I'm hoping that we could play every team in the league once to keep the tradition of playing those teams that surround us in our county once, not twice. And then we'd have 7 more non-league games we could play to schedule big time teams around the area. So that'd be a little bit of the best of both worlds, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, because there actually wasn't that long, ago when it was more competitive. Remember Clyde, a few years ago, that those games are always great. Obviously, you guys always, love playing them, but the teams now are just they don't seem to be too competitive, and you guys just cruise past teams because of how elite you guys are. You guys are,
When I played, like Pelmac and Wayne were also in our league. So the Wayne County League was once tough, one of
yeah,
the better.
yeah,
Um, yeah, now it's almost like we take basketball way more seriously than the rest of the league.
yeah.
they might take other sports more seriously or whatever, but we put way more time into basketball. So
Yeah.
that shows, it usually shows up during the regular season.
Yep. And like I said earlier, you guys seem to have more depth than all these other teams, more players that play at a high level, and that's what makes you guys so good. And obviously, you guys put a ton of time into it, and it's good to see. But also, there's something new going on this year that you guys are doing. You and the girls teams are playing the home games at the community center. So, what are your thoughts of like, do you enjoy playing there, and what makes it so different compared to the Atwood Gymnasium as a player and a coaching standpoint?
Once again, for tradition purposes and for how I was brought up, the Atwood's like sacred to me. The Atwood's, I mean, it's not just a gym. It's the history of the town is in that gym. So of course, I fought it. I wanted to stay in the Atwood. But I understand moving to a bigger, newer gym. I understand all that. And for the way we play, running up and down with 10 people, with 10, 12 kids in our rotation, it helps us to be on that bigger court, to be honest with you. But I'll never say it's better than the Atwood.
Yeah. Would you guys, or would you say that you did benefit more though from the Atwood because it's a smaller court and you guys have the speed compared to all the other teams?
In a way we do, in a way we don't. With this, we press a lot, so our pressing on that makes it easier because it's cramped up. There's not as much room for offenses to deal with pressure. But on the bigger court, our speed actually helps us on the bigger court because it's more room for us to run by people. What sort of hurts is the Atwood's atmosphere was legendary. People would actually be scared just to come into that gym sometimes.
Yeah.
And the LCC doesn't have that yet, but hopefully the longer we play there, the more that home court advantage will be in the community center as well.
Yeah, I would say the court's nicer and having more fans is obviously great. For example, last Saturday when you guys played Avoca Prattsburgh, but one thing you could tell is they certainly couldn't keep up with your guys' speed. They wanted to play a quick game with you guys, and they weren't ready for it. But it was a very quality win for you guys. I mean, they weren't no slouch. They're a pretty good team coming in, and you guys acted like they were just another Wayne County team. But,
very proud of the kids. They beat us last year, and we did not play a good game. They won the state championship last year. They were number 2. We worked all week on getting revenge for what happened last year, and we studied them. And the kids were really up for the challenge, and I was very proud of my kids on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a really good win, and you guys, I believe, have a couple tough matchups coming up. Moravia, is that correct? This weekend?
Yes, we played Moravia on Monday at Cuba College at 3:00.
And then you guys do have Aquinas, I believe, in mid-February.
We have Aquinas in February and Geneva in February.
Yeah, so those 3 games are definitely ones to watch. But has there actually been any talk of what league you guys would go to if you did leave the Wayne County League? Or
I think we'd go independent and pick up like I picked up those 4 non-league games: Geneva, Avoca Prattsburgh, Aquinas, and Moravia. Now then we'd pick up 7 more of those. So we'd be free to pick up anyone, anywhere, actually.